What is going on, fight fans? My name is Jake Littman, and I'm here with the Behind the Cage Door podcast. Today, we're bringing to you a new episode with a really special guest. So far, it's been all MMA, but right now, we're switching into the world of power slap fighting. I've got Damien Dibbell with me today. How's it going, Damien?
It's going good, just chilling, vibing, doing whatever.
Oh, yeah, another day in Florida. I'm wearing this UFC shirt, swap the F and the C. We got UCF, both of us here in sunny Orlando. Nice day today. And that leads right to our first question. How in the world are you a college student also competing at the highest level in combat sports?
It's just planning your day out. Sometimes you got to take random days off from work to, get your test done and just fit in a workout whenever you can. Like literally, I work out at home, so just whenever I got time, I'll start working out, and then my daily job is working at a moving company, so that keeps me active pretty much all week. Like that's just how it is.
And you gotta grind and get yourself through school somehow. And working definitely isn't easy, and especially when you're doing it hands-on. But do you think working with a moving company, do you think that helps you? Because in a way, you're training every day at your job.
Oh, I think it definitely does help me. Like if you're putting in 14 hours to just walk back and forth, like picking stuff up, you're moving, you're being active for like 10 plus hours out of your day, then it's definitely going to help you stay in shape.
And then so you go to the gym, I'm assuming at the end of the day after your shift's over. What are you typically looking to focus on at the gym after you've put your body through such a taxing day?
Usually I'm trying to focus on like upper body stuff like shoulders, chest, anything that I'm not usually like being able to work out while I'm moving furniture. Like legs on any stair day, my legs are going to be dead. I don't usually focus on legs. Like I'll hit a leg workout every once in a while, but usually that's taking care of itself. But it's usually like shoulders, chest, certain muscle groups that you're not using too much when you're moving.
Yeah, and I feel like certainly when you're going through that grind every day, you've got school mentally draining on you. I feel like that puts you in such a routine where when you get to it's time to fight, time to go up there and slap. Like I feel like you must be so well prepared. So how do you make sure that you get everything done and get to that fight ready to go and not feel that wear and tear on your body?
Luckily for the new sci-fi promotions, we're there for like a full week to compete. So we're there doing promotional stuff, interviewing, filming like our promos and all that. So it gives me enough time to kind of like wind down, relax, like let my body rest. I'll still work out in the hotel, of course, because I can't sit still for too long. But it gives you that time to really like calm down and like focus mentally on the match you're preparing for.
And so heading into Power Slap, you wanted to compete, I believe, but you weren't allowed to because of the commission. Is that correct?
I wanted to compete during the TV show, but I wasn't allowed to because I wasn't old enough to go into the house yet. You have to be 21 at minimum age because of all the alcohol and stuff. So, yeah, they put me on as assistant coach because I already had made a name for myself, and they were like, "All right, you can be in the house, but we'll give you this position because we see that you're at that level."
Absolutely. And for the people at home that aren't so familiar with power slap or slap fighting in general, or even Damien, you're 4-1 so far in your career. Your first fight was against Frank the Tank, who's a very well-known commodity in that world. So when you got to the show, did you feel like it was hard for you to have that coaching role with all these guys they were all 21 plus?
I definitely expected. Geez, tired, long day. I definitely expected it to be difficult to like sit there and try to coach these guys on a new sport when they're all like 10 plus years older than me. Like they've lived life longer than me. Some of them are coaches to other people, but it was great because they really showed them respect and they showed it right back. And they knew that I'd been doing this for a while. So I'd had experience and had information that they definitely want to use and really help them get to the point where they are now. And a lot of the dudes that we trained are still doing great in the sport, and I couldn't be prouder.
That's awesome. And I feel like they had a lot of different weight classes and a lot of different personalities in that house, which definitely created a very interesting dynamic. And for you, from a coach's perspective, how were you really able to balance all those different personalities and styles?
We kept the weight classes together. That was Ron's idea. He figured if you keep the weight classes together, they could train together. They're going to be competing against each other eventually, but they'll be able to build themselves at that weight class before moving on to actually competing.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned Ron, Coach Wolverine. He's your next opponent, right? So how's your relationship with him?
I think it's pretty good. We hang out whenever we're both event or during the TV show we were hanging out, but like we're not best of friends. I ain't gonna say that or anything, but we're if we see each other, we're going to hang out for a little minute, talk, ask about how life's been going. But yeah, we're pretty chill, so it's gonna be a fun time, going against him as the number one now for the belt.
Yeah, and so you did go in there. Once you turned 21 and you were able to compete, you went in there. You dominated against Dwayne Crespo with a nice second round TKO. How did that really feel? And when you got that win, you rose your hand. There was a lot of emotion there. So can you walk me through like the build up to that and then that release of energy?
It was more just getting back into the sport. I was nervous about my performance, having not competed for like 8 months before this event. So I've been training hard, and I was just I was just trying to focus on how much training I've been doing and preparing for what I want to do during the event. And when I knocked him, actually it all started when I got slapped the first time. I was like, okay, this wasn't as bad. He doesn't hit as hard as I expected him to. This is going to be a match. And when he went down the second round, it was just like relief, like, oh, thank God I did it. It's going to be great. Like I was just excited. I was just ecstatic. It was a great time.
I can only imagine. I'm sure there was a crazy adrenaline rush. But really, my next question that stems from that is, what was the difference between that first slap that you had and that second slap? Did you kind of approach the first slap as like a warm up just to gauge, how you were going to approach the rest of the fight?
That's exactly what it was. That first slap, that was just to gauge kind of like how my accuracy is doing, like making sure that I'm still hitting accurately on an actual opponent, because it's completely different slapping a bob and then going up there and slapping an actual person. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't pulling any penalties. I didn't knock him out on a penalty or anything. So it was just kind of a lighter blow to kind of gauge where I was at. And then once I saw that my accuracy was there, my feet were steady, everything was like lining up perfectly, I put some more power behind it and got the knockout. So it was great.
And he went down and he went down hard. And that got a lot of views on the internet, which I'm sure has boosted you really, really well so far.
Oh yeah, I've gotten a lot more messages, follows, people going on my posts and stuff like that. But I don't really try to focus on that too much. Like people try and build social media platforms. I'm already busy as is, and trying to build social media up and like that. I'll post every once in a while, but keeping up with it is just it's a whole nother thing to do. I just don't have time for it.
No, I definitely feel that. Social media is in this world, in this society, it's a huge aspect. Real quick, we'll shout out your social media at the Bell SF, correct?
Yes, sir. The Bell SF, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. They made me download Twitter for some reason. I don't use Twitter, but I got it. So
So follow him. He's got all sorts of
yeah.
content, though, all sorts of stuff. Your Instagram, I know you said you don't try and post a lot, but you got some really good, interesting stuff there. And one thing that I really want to pay note to is your training regimen. I remember there was this one video where you were slapping like a steel. It was like a steel pole almost. Uh,
Mhm.
how does that training work for you specifically for the slap fighting? Not just your physical training, but the slap fighting training.
That's training the hardness of your hand. Like the whole point of that was to be able to slap somebody, and like if you get a penalty, like they flinch and you end up hitting their head, still being able to use that hand, because a lot of people have had the issue, like even just like slapping a little too deep or slapping right on the money sometimes even. They're hurting their hands. A lot of dudes are having to put ice on their hands after matches. Like their hands are sore, wrists are messed up. One dude during the show actually, I think, either broke or fractured his hand after the other guy flinched. So I think hardening your hand is like super important for the sport, especially if you want to take this long term.
And then also like defensively, I know there's a lot of different opinions out there on the defense of the sport, but how do you train yourself defensively to be prepared to then, after you give that hit and someone eats it, how do you eat one of your own?
Uh, See, that's the one thing about the sport that I don't train for. I personally, it's a sport about toughness, and you're just you either have a chin or you don't. Like I personally don't train anything specific to help my defense. I'll definitely work out like the areas like shoulder. I heard helps, and some dudes train their neck. They have devices to help you train your neck and stuff like that. But I personally don't have any special technique for training to get hit or taking the actual hit.
And so when you're in that competition and you take Crespo's first slap, what was going through your mind? I mean, you can't move, you can't flinch. So what's really going through your head as you're taking that hit?
Honestly, for the first hit of every match, the thought running through my head is just like, God, I hope I don't get knocked out on this. God, I don't want to get knocked out first round, because you don't know how strong it is yet. You don't could be that one person that just hits you just right and you're out for the count. But luckily, I was able to take that hit and move on with the match.
Oh yeah. And so knowing those risks, how do you get over that hump, get over the hurdle to get up on that stage and actually compete?
Honestly, I feel like you just gotta be a little bit crazy to really be able to stand there and take a slap to the face. Like you have to be willing to like know that you're going guaranteed know you're going to get hit. Like if I'm trying to become a boxer eventually, if you're really good at boxing, you might not get you're going to get hit, but you might not get hit as hard, might not get hit as much. But being able to stand there without flinching, receive the dude's strongest hit, like that's something that takes a little bit of crazy to do. And it's something that you just have to be it's hard to describe. Like you just have to be willing to take that hit. Like this is this is what I signed up for. This is what I know is coming. So I just this is what I have to do.
So I was just asking, where'd you get that inspiration from? Where like you were saying, you gotta have a little bit of crazy in you. So what really got you there?
I've just always been a person that likes battles of toughness, and like if I'm boxing, I want to stand in the middle of the ring and slug it out with you. So I saw those videos online and just the craziness of it, just the battle of the strongest chin and the hardest slap. Like it was just something super enticing to me. So my wife finally convinced me to actually like message them and sign up for it. And from there, I've been loving the sport ever since.
That's awesome. And so how long have you been training boxing for?
I've only been training boxing for a couple months off and on. I'm
Oh,
planning to get LASIK surgery so that I can actually, train boxing, because it's real hard to spar when your vision's really bad.
well, that LASIK surgery, I know it always works and helps everybody. So you'll get back right back in there and be able to take those hits and get that training going. But in the short term, what really are your goals? You got a championship fight. I haven't really seen anything announced about a Power Slap 2 or when that championship fight's going to be. So I don't know if you have any insight on that. But what's your short term goals?
Short term goals is just continue what I've been doing. I've been doing the same thing since I started, and I don't really have plans to change it up too much other than my boxing training. I definitely plan to focus a lot of more energy into that because I feel like it will help me with the slap fighting as well. But there's definitely specific workouts I will continue to do for fighting that I won't do if I'm just training for boxing. But yeah, it's just training boxing and continuing to do what I've been doing since the beginning.
Absolutely. And it's clearly working. I
And
mean,
also, I don't know anything. Oh, sorry.
no, no, you're
I
good.
don't know anything about season two or anything. They haven't told me anything about the next fight, the dates for it. So you're in the same boat I am. You know as much as I do.
It's all good. I'm sure that one day, once they do announce it, I'm sure we'll see it everywhere over social media, and I'm sure those promos will start coming in, and I'm sure that'll be real fun for you. But not knowing the date, what do you really look forward to the most? Approaching that title fight that you're gonna get.
Uh, Honestly, approaching the top fight, I'm just looking at a shot at the original number one and number two guys. Like Darius was number one for a long time, and Ron just knocked him out. So now I'm gunning for the OG number one to really prove that I'm the best in the sport.
And so Darius, he's again for the people that aren't as familiar. Darius was undefeated, correct? And so Darius was dominant.
Oh yeah, Darius was undefeated. Went 27 rounds with Ron. Like he was really good at the sport, and to see him get knocked out like that was crazy to me. And now we have a definite number one. Now there's no debate about who's number one. Ron took that spot, and now I'm planning to take it from him.
And so for you, I know leading up to the fight, you always said you wanted that belt. Let's say you go in there, you beat Ron. Is Darius next?
He's probably gonna make his way back up to take that belt right back. So eventually he's gonna be next. But as far as who I'm going to go up against, it doesn't matter to me. I got the belt. You can come up. You can send anyone to come up and try to take it. I'm going to do my best to defend it if I have it.
Absolutely. And so from your perspective, you worked very closely with Ron on the show as a coach. Obviously you've admired Darius and you've seen his career. What do you think really was the difference for Ron to make those adjustments and go in and knock him out after they went through some grueling wars where, he honestly got the short end of the stick a couple times?
Uh, Darius has a technique of flinching with slaps that he's really perfected. Like he's probably the only one that could do it consistently, and you wouldn't know the difference. Like he's great at it. Like I'll give props to him for getting good at that, because that's one technique you can use as a sport, taking the hit and like kind of rolling with it. But I guess he must have mistimed it, messed something up, and Ron was just more accurate and had been working on his power and got him with a good one. And it did too much damage for Darius, and I guess he just wasn't used to that anymore.
Yeah, and it was really crazy. And I think the big thing that stuck out to me was Ron was bigger. And you fought people, I believe your second fight, maybe it was, you were 40 pounds less than the guy.
Yeah, that was my super heavyweight match. That was technically my third match. I don't know if they put my. No, that was my. Oh my lord, I don't even remember my own fight. But no, but yeah, no, that was against the Hulk, who's currently a contender for the super heavyweight belt.
Yeah, and
Oh, that
so
was my. Okay.
no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, my wife was just letting me know that was my third fight.
Third fight. Okay, so I misspoke as well. But so when you went into that and you were 40 pounds less than him, how are you able to overcome that and get the win as opposed to Ron, who had to go and put on that weight in order to then finally get that win?
Uh, that was a hard one. The Hulk, he definitely hit hard. And going into the match, I knew I was going to be the lighter person. He was he was had a neck, like he could take a hit. So it was going to be about focusing on accuracy and hitting that same spot, and then just doing damage over and over and over again until he just couldn't take it anymore. And that's what ended up happening because round seven, it just looked like he just couldn't take it anymore. He was just done. Like, yeah, that was one match I won by, I guess technically like submission, or he gave up. Like he just took a slap one too many. It was like I'm done.
crazy. You really just took the man's will out of him. That's really crazy to think about.
Oh yeah, that's probably one of my proudest matches. That one right there.
As it
Like
should
I,
be.
I don't think yeah, I don't think I'll top that match for a long time.
Not until that belt's in your hands.
True.
And then so stemming off that, um, you're going after the belt. And so once you get it, do you think that your preparation or your goals and aspirations are going to change at all? Or is it just going to be business as usual for you?
Probably just business as usual for a good while, unless like probably take me defending the belt a number of times before I aspirations start deviating because I do want to get into professional boxing. That's always been a dream of mine. And if there's no one that's taking the belt from me, and it's like because it'll probably turn what it turned into a Sapphire Championship. One dude holds the belt, and then just contenders keep cycling in and in, and no one's beating them. Like at some point, I'd probably just relinquish the belt, and then would like try to pursue pro boxing like full time. But I don't see myself doing that. Like it'd probably take a long time, and I don't think I'm that good. Like just to sit there and defend the belt for that many matches. But the future's yet to be written, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, and that hard work and that preparation is going to be what leads the charge there, and really gets you to the top. And so when you think about that hard work and preparation, you're training boxing, you're working, you're going to school, and so for you personally, what really, like let's say it's not possible to just keep winning. What qualifies as success for you?
Success for me is taking the belt and holding it twice. As long as you hold that belt twice, I feel like you succeeded in what you came here to do. You took your belt, you held it for about a year because I'm guessing they're going to do around 2 matches a year, and I feel like it'd be a successful career in Power Slap.
And then so you're one of the pioneers for the sports. How do you envision the sport moving forward in the future?
Honestly, it really depends on how people's opinions keep changing. Because at first everyone hated it, and then everyone started loving it, and then it's just like you got this group over here that loves MMA but hates Power Slap. People that love wrestling, so they love Power Slap. People that love wrestling but hate Power Slap. I think it definitely has the possibility to really turn into a great sport, just because like the crowd, just being in a live show and seeing the crowd's reactions, it completely changes it. It makes it 10 times better. Like you get the feeling of the sport unless you're watching it live. And I feel like those live events would really drive the sport forward.
And I know Dana White has been saying a lot. He wants to move away from the Apex and really get back in more so to live shows. And so I'm sure those live shows are going to become prevalent, not just within the UFC, but also within Power Slap. Do I still got you?
I just came back. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
All right. Well, I can see and hear you. So we're good. We got a couple minutes before this Zoom call ends. I guess I need to upgrade to the pro. So I guess I'll just wrap up and start asking you my last couple questions. So for you personally, you're very calm, you're very cool, you're very collected. Um, Obviously, you've got a strong hand. So you go up there and you're looking somebody in the face, you're looking them in the eyes. What's going through your head?
Honestly, it depends on the person. Certain people, there's, I ain't gonna say, I mean, there's certain fighters out there that have definitely said some things before a match that's got me on edge. That I just won't go up there. Hello?
Yeah, I lost you again real quick. But you're saying you just want to get out there and do your thing.
Yeah, certain people, there's just you just want to get out there and genuinely, I feel anger towards certain people. Just one specific fighter that I've gone against, just for some things that were said outside of the match. But usually, it's just you're focused on either taking or dishing out your hit. Like you're not thinking about like anything else. You're not thinking about like what you're going to say after you knock them out or anything like that. You're just thinking about the slap itself.
And so for you, with your technique with that slap, uh, can you give me like a couple quick pointers? What are you looking to do? What constitutes a successful slap?
I'm looking to put my hand directly on your chin. I got a big hand, so I'm trying to reach like the top part of my hand to that button while still keeping it so much like not doing it in a way that will cause a club. I'm looking to go full force without stepping. Like my feet are completely steady. Like if you watch back my fights, I'm super proud of it. Like my feet did not move in the slightest. They were firmly planted there, and that's how I performed against Dwayne is how I want to perform in pretty much every single match.
Awesome. And yeah, it's all about replicating that technique because I feel like in this sport specifically, I mean, obviously in all combat sports, techniques is very pivotal, but in this sport specifically, without good technique, you're going to lose yourself the match because of those penalties.
Oh yeah, and it
So
even certain techniques will draw more power for you. They'll make you hit weaker. Like techniques are really important in the sport, and people have yet to realize that just because it hasn't had its rounds yet, it hasn't gotten its reps yet.
absolutely. So we've got 90 seconds. So I'm going to give you two questions in one, and we'll close it off there.
All right.
So my first question for you in these last two, what do you have to say to the people that are on the edge about Power Slap? And my second question is there anybody you want to shout out before we get cut off here by Zoom?
Uh, I say just give it a shot. Give it an honest opinion. Go watch some matches. You'll probably enjoy it. Drink a beer. Have a drinking contest while you're watching it. Go do something fun. Like the sport's meant to be fun. That's what everything is. It's meant to be entertaining. And if you're entertained while watching it, it's doing its job. And probably just like to shout out my wife, the current coach, Grandmaster C. He runs a dojo in Apollo Beach that I've been going to for the past 2 years. He's really helped me in this specifically. My coworkers have been great support. My family has been very supportive. Just everybody in my life that's been, hyping me up to continue doing what I'm doing. This all love to them.
Absolutely. Love to all the people that support us. I know for a fact that we got to always say thanks and they better know it because we couldn't do it without them. Damien, I want to say thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I can't wait to see where your career progresses to.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's been a great interview. Great talking to you, man.
Thank you. You as well. Have a great rest of your day. Don't work too hard.
I'll try. Have a good one, man.
Take care, brother.